Hi folks, this is John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. You're going to hear my GPS in the background. I've been meaning to make a brief response video to one of my subscribers who goes by the handle of Beautiful Brand. I just love that handle. I'm guessing it's a Gmail handle associated with your YouTube account. But Beautiful Brand had reached out to me concerning productivity and documentation and expectations, and she pointed out that she's having a hard time maintaining as an assistant 80 to 85% productivity and do documentation and get out the door in 8 hours. And so my response to Beautiful Brand and those that are having problems in that area is you got to look at it from different angles. So what could be causing your difficulty? Obviously, I've talked about unrealistic expectations. So you could obviously have somebody pushing you for more productivity than is really ethical. However, I will tell Beautiful Brand that as an assistant, an 85% productivity is on the low side in today's world. We're seeing 95 and 100. One assistant reported something like 125%. That's just ridiculous. So with that said, 85% is going to be considered on the low side. So then you start looking at, okay, what are some other factors that I could possibly control to improve my productivity and still get out the door in 8 hours and get good, solid documentation done? And I always break it down into personal factors and also operational factors. So let's talk about operational. Well, one could be just physical layout and availability of computers. So if you have 10 clinicians on 3 computers, that's obviously an issue. If you have problems with Wi-Fi connectivity, I've been in several buildings with that. That's an issue. If you have electronic medical records, or EMR, program that's just not well set up for productivity, and all of them have flaws, that will be an issue. And so, like, for example, I use Epic. Epic is not well set up for productivity. It's thorough, but it's not very productive use of my time. There's repetitiveness to it, and but you got to do some of that repetitiveness. So you have to look at the barriers operationally, and some of that can include your EMR. And then let's look at personal factors. And let's face it, we all have our own personal challenges. For me, I am a hunt and peck typer. Now, I've been doing it for years, and I'm extremely fast as a hunt and peck typer. In fact, probably almost as fast as somebody that can do traditional QWERTY type typing. However, I'm not as fast as I possibly could be. And so that's something I could work on fixing, but I just haven't taken the time. The other thing is, we all have personal habits that might make us a little less productive than we could be. And so we might be missing, and I say might,
in a quarter of a mile,
be missing opportunities to be more productive with documentation while we're working with our patient. Sometimes point of service documentation can work. Not all the time, though. And so that's one thing you got to look at is, are you missing some of your opportunities? Also, the other thing I look at from a personal factor is, and maybe Beautiful Brands has this issue, is maybe she's such a helpful person.
Turn left.
She's getting roped into stuff she shouldn't be doing because it's non-billable time. And we really do need to be sensitive to that. If you're in a facility, there are people that do not have to account for every single minute they do. So they are the non-productive people, and they are probably the non-licensed people. And they could be helping patients, getting them a cup of coffee, or taking them to the bathroom, or things like that. Now, I know as therapists we're going to do some of that stuff, but we got to make sure we're not roped into that, because obviously that eats into our productive time. So you look at operational factors, and then you look at personal factors, and then lastly, of course, you look at what your employer's expectations are. And so that would be my threefold approach to determining how I can better meet productivity standards and get out the door on time. And anyway, I hope that's somewhat helpful. It requires real thorough knowledge of your personal experience and your personal situation with your company and the EMR and the setting you work in. And so you're going to have to do some analysis on your own to really delve into what can I do that I can control that'll make an impact in this area. And ultimately, it might all boil down to you do have a company that's unrealistic. And at that point, maybe try to find another job. I know this is not a good market right now. If you work for a company that has just ridiculous expectations. But that's what I would go through systematically to determine what can make me more productive and get my documentation done.
In half a mile.
Anyway, John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. Take care and God bless.